Ah, remember this? This, my friends, is a tank garage. It smells of diesel oil. It smells of grease and metal and exhaust fumes. It doesn't smell of BO, baby oil, and sequins. Hello, I'm RetroJules. So, I hear you ask, Retro, what do the PS4 players see when you roll out in your tanks? Well, just lately, they see the same as the Xbox players, and it goes a little bit like this. Right, let's go in and help my buddy. Oh, God's sakes. Well, this isn't going to end well. He's dead. Hang on, have I got away with this? Does that tank know I'm here? Oh, well, it does now. Well, that's my last shot, and... Oh, well... Prepare to meet your doom, Retro. Yeah, no surprises there. Right, in we go. I'm coming in for the... Oh. Shh. Nobody saw. Got away with that. Right. Do I head for the Abbey? Do you know what? I think I will, because it's one light tank per side. So I shouldn't get bum rushed. I could just stop at the hill and have a peer over, or I could just commit and go straight in. Got a medium behind me, but the trouble is if I spot anything, I don't think anything's going to hit it. Right, straight in, undetected. Let's go and hopefully spot almost the entire team. Oh, well, there's one. And there's Retro, there's two mediums coming in. You've got no support. Oh no, this is not going to end well. It was a bit risky. Yeah, dead, just for a change. Right, I'm going to play the east flank and do some spotting over there. Three of us who can scout. Well, that player's obviously heading east, so okay, I'll change. I'll go west. Not sure I like playing west, but I'll do that. What's the third light tank doing? Oh, well, they're still in the cap, so they're no use to anybody. Right, one spotted. I'll go in, I'll roll over the hill, and come back. Oh, do you know... Well, that's not a great start, is it? This is going to end very soon. Bollocks. Right. Head for the little village. Do some spotting. Now, I can go down the slope here on the left, can't I? I've just zoomed it. Oh, crap. It's not the part of the map that I thought it was. God's sakes, man. You should know your maps by now. Right, Rymantal's a little bit top heavy, Retro, so just be careful on the curves. We'll go over the bridge. You might want to slow down, just a little. You might want to back off on the speed. I'm not sure you've got the... Oh, no. Sorry, team. Right, let's get out in the open. Let's get some spotting done. They've got 3 light tanks. There's a lot of light tanks in this game. And really? What did I hit? Oh, that's not a great start, is it? Well, I have to apologise. I have been awful, and I apologise to the Xbox players for not making us look good. And I apologise to the PS4 players for being rubbish. I apologise to the tankers that at the moment I am crap. My last gameplay was the AMX-50B and my inability to play it. And quite simply, it's just an unrelenting tank that doesn't let you make any mistakes whatsoever. And some of you left some hints and tips for me on how to play the AMX-50B. You know, Retro, play as a platoon. Use your buddies to support you while you're on the reload, and then you can pop up and unleash hell. But the trouble is, it was such a huge tank that if you made any mistakes, showed yourself, made yourself visible when you shouldn't, You were punished immediately for it. Quite simply, I was not and am not a good enough player to play the AMX50B. And even though I had lots of hints and tips and people saying, you know, this is how you play it, this is how you don't play it, actually, nobody turned around and said, this is the reason why you don't see people playing it. Nobody kind of came up with that. So I think it is a particularly hard tank, and maybe not competitive tank, to play. Please prove me wrong. But as a result of playing that tank back to back, it really knocked my tanking confidence. I was just having really shoddy, awful games. And I thought, right, well obviously I can't play that tank. And I kind of just wanted to mix up the gameplay a little bit. So I wanted to roll out some heavies. And this is all before crossplay, by the way. And I thought, I am going to roll out the T57. Because when I got the AMX50B, it was my first auto-loading, then heavy tank. And then I got the T57 Heavy. And I remember thinking to myself, why on earth would you want an AMX50B when you've got a T57 Heavy? So that was the reason that I thought, I'm going to roll out the T57 Heavy and just see if it's my tanking or whether it's the tank or that little blend of both. The T57 has an amazing autoloader, does loads of damage, typical American tank, not that accurate, not great penetration, but if you can get in close to mid-range with this thing, then you really can unleash a lot of damage. Just trying to take as much health of the waffle out and back up, back up. Fix your cannon when you're ready, Retro. You kind of got away with that, well done. And it's an excellent 22-second reload on this for me as well, which is not uncomfortable. Scorpion G's coming in. Are you ready? 1 in, 2 in, 3 in. Auto aim will work because the Scorpion hasn't got any armor. Gonna do a reload? Are you? Retro? Reload? Reload. Thank you. Don't think about it, just get it done. So this was the second game. Can't remember what the first game was like. It was okay, I think, but this was the second game of rolling out the T57, and I rolled out the T57 back to back, and it brought my confidence back. I was having just some good, all-round, pleasing games, and I think with the T57, one, it's not as quick as the 50B, and secondly, it's got some quite reliable armour. So if you do make mistakes, you can generally get away with them. Now, I am not on a lot of health here. I could have died quite quickly back then, and I'm just trying to outsnipe the TDs who are lurking at the back of the map. We are 3 tanks up, 3,200 damage. Really quite happy already with this game. Right. At the back there. There it is. There it is. Oh, you fluffed your shot. Get down. No, you're not going to get a shot in there. And these two guys are just sat up here sniping as well. TD at B3 down on the beach. And a medium's right back at our spawn, and if the TD can't hold off the medium, it's going to end up going in for artillery, which could even things up quite quickly. So I'm quick enough to get there. I'm going in. And the heavy's there as well. Okay. I've obviously not got a lot of faith in my team. Why am I camping? Camping? Capping is the word I should be using. I'm not. Now, maybe I did that to try and lure the enemy in. There must have been a reason at the time, but I can't think of it. One shot in. That's the object taken out. Let's get a reload done. Now, I'm a bit backwards and forwards here. I wasn't sure whether to go in for the heavy, go across to the TD.
We're securing the base.
And I'm capping again. I can't honestly remember what my thought process was. I think it was because I was a little bit slow, and I thought if I go for the TD, I'm going to get outspotted. So if I start capping, it's going to put the pressure on those players to hopefully try and come in this direction. Our TD is just going to sit there and wait. Our other heavies at K3, obviously with a little bit of a standoff with the enemy heavy, but we don't know where that is at the moment because there's no line of sight. Artie's bailing out, so they're obviously worried. So I think this is what I was doing. I think I was just putting pressure on to make them come to us. There's the heavy at K5. Oh, I might be able to get a shot from here. Ooh, it's the 60 TP. It's a one shot. That'll do it. That's the heavy taken out. Right, yeah, the TD's joined me because it's like, well, you know, do we want to go in for the other TD? I'm not going to be able to outspot it, and I'm probably a one shot. So, yeah, let's bring the TD to us. It's, you know, we're not going to end up killing the entire team, but actually, our heavy's going to take ages to get across to the map because the TD's around that sort of northwest corner. Well, it was. It's circling round. It's going in to take artillery out. It doesn't seem interested in saving the cap. So I'm like, come on, mate, we know where it is now and it's on the move. We've got the advantage.
Mission accomplished.
And the TD was taken out. So that was that game. I quite enjoyed that. Got away with a few things perhaps I shouldn't have done. And how did we do overall? Well, very decent, just over 4,000 damage. A little bit of assisted too, second class mastery. That was just a pleasing game, and we came top. As you know, I am a very average, quite often below average player. And I have no problem with that because, you know, this game isn't that important to me. It is purely a game and a hobby. And I have life and work and everything else going on around it. And this is just something I do to while away a few spare hours during the week. Before crossplay, I was quite happy with the way I play. Don't get me wrong, always room for improvement, but I could have quite a few just very pleasing, normal games in an evening, a few failures, and every once in a while, perhaps, well, not really an epic game, but, you know, a decent game. I was just happy with my gameplay, and I found the whole thing enjoyable. Since crossplay, since the merger of PS4 and Xbox in one place, I cannot play this game. Those clips you saw at the beginning were me thinking, well, do you know what? Go back to your light tanks, Retro. You know, you always enjoyed your light tanks. Get a bit of manoeuvrability so you can adapt a little bit quicker in the game. And maybe that'll work for you. It absolutely didn't. It was YOLO tanking, it was dreadful driving, it was just diabolical and embarrassing, if nothing else. This game, again, is before crossplay, by the way. It was just getting my confidence back in the T57. No matter what tank I roll out at the moment, no matter how I play it or what I play, I am unable to get pleasing results in the game. I am dying a ridiculous amount of times, and do you know what? I just can't get a rhyme or reason. I could turn around and blame the teams and say, I don't have any support. Teams don't come with me. They don't support me. They don't seem to be map aware. That you know, there are tanks in funny places, and all that stuff that we've already talked about is absolutely happening. For me, the feeling of the whole way the game is playing and the way the battlefield plays out is completely different. And I have now switched to the US server, and the reason I've switched to the US server is because there is a lot more Xbox players. And I just wanted to see if that made a difference. It's made a tiny amount of difference. I would say, actually, for me on the US server, there's a little bit more team play. There's a little bit more sort of, you know, camaraderie. There's just a little bit more togetherness. But there's a lot that isn't, and it's only a little bit different and possibly a little bit better. I have noticed overall now that the whole game has changed, and it's not one particular console that is affecting it. It's this whole thing where we're all together and the game has changed. I think everyone's adapting. The trouble is, I can't adapt, and I don't really know why. I obviously need to change the way I play, and I'm not a perfect player. Anybody and everybody can pick apart my gameplay, because it's never perfect and it never will be. But it was always quite acceptable. At the moment, it absolutely isn't. It is dreadful. And I've even sort of restocked and thought, what is it that I'm not doing different? What is it that I need to do differently to react to this new game meta? And I don't have an answer for that because I can't work it out. I just, you know, I've had games where I've hung back with the team and it's been super campy and nobody's gone out and do any spotting. So I've then gone forward to do some spotting and found quite a lot of the team and died. And I don't know, just everything and anything I do on the battlefield, it's not working at the moment. I'll tell you what, tankiitis is nothing compared to this. This is unable to adaptiitis. I just can't do it. And you might have an answer, and I'd be really interested in what your experiences are now that we're all settling in, as to whether you're having these same problems. But what I'm thinking of doing now is going right down the tiers and just trying to get some semblance of tanking normality and getting some games that I enjoy and games that I used to have. Well, how do we do overall? Just over 6,000 damage, very easy damage, second class mastery badge, 80 grand, just under 81 grand in the bank, and we came second overall. I know for a fact that I'm not the only person experiencing these problems. I would like to say thank you for all of you who had some really good conversations and some really good comments on my last video, which was has merging the player base changed the gameplay, and loads of people have noticed it. And that video actually could have been misconstrued as me kind of blaming PS4 players and their introduction into the game for changing the meta, and it wasn't, and I made that clear in the video. But combining us has definitely changed the way things are. This gameplay is crossplay, and this was my first experience of cross-platooning, and it was me and Ricky. And as a first experience, actually physically talking to a PlayStation player in the game was actually quite unbelievable. I've just sort of had to pinch myself and thought, yeah, this is actually it. I am physically talking to somebody on the PlayStation while we play our favourite game. And that was something I really enjoyed. But my question to you is, I think we've all identified that things are different. Things have changed. The game has changed and it feels different. But what have you done about it? And how is it affecting you? And have you sort of found a way around it. What I'm asking really as part of this video is I am saying to you, at the moment, I am more rubbish than I've ever been. In fact, if you were to turn around and message me after a game and called me a noob, that would actually be a compliment, because I would take noob right now over what it is that I'm doing. This game actually worked out quite well, as it happens, but for me, playing with Ricky, it was just an evening of just, I think we were on for about 2.5, 3 hours, and it was just an evening of just very mundane games, and I would even say that some of them just weren't even, mildly average. We were coming mid-table, I was still dying, and it was just frustrating. But this was the last game of the evening. Well, one of 3, because we'd had a couple of failures, and I said, look, Ricky, this really needs to be the last game this evening. I want to go to bed. And as it happens, it worked out quite well. So what are you doing? What have you done? How have you adapted to the new gameplay style? What is it that you've changed? I am considering, and probably am, going to go right down to tiers sort of 5 and 6, and I have done, although some of the tanks that I've got down there have quite weak crews, so it's going to be a bit of an issue. But the trouble for me is that the reasons I play tier 8 or tier 10 is the tiering. Obviously, if you play tier 10, you're top tier, you can just get stuck in and sort of do what you do. And if I'm in tier 8, generally I'm in a light tank, and once upon a time, I could hold my own against tier 10 tanks because I have the manoeuvrability and I could hide, and I could use the advantage of a light tank up against tier 10s. Can't do that at the moment. But I only play for a few hours in the week, and if I then play lower tiers, the chances of getting games where I'm 2 tiers down are very, very likely. And as we all know, generally, if you're top tier, the chances of you doing well are higher. And playing tier 10, which is what I like to do, is because I'm always going to be top tier and I can just concentrate on the game. But when you're playing the lower tiers, you might be 1 tier down, you might be 2 tiers down, obviously you might be top tier, but there are 3 chances there of the game actually just not being in your favour purely by tiering alone, let alone the way you play, the map and the type of tank you've got. So I want to go down to the lower tiers just for sanity's sake, and just to recoup my tanking ability and just try and really work out what's going wrong. Now that might not be the right thing to do, because you might say, well actually, Retro, you're probably better off playing tier 10, because actually a lot of players are playing the lower tiers now and having much better games. There might be better players lower down. I really don't have any answers to how I'm struggling with the game at the moment, so I'm putting this out to you. Help me, please. Tell me what you think I might be doing wrong. Tell me of the issues that you may have had and what you've done to overcome them. And have you had these real problems with the gameplay and the meta and how it's all changed? And has what you've done worked for you? Or are you still out there struggling like I am and just struggling to get a half decent game in? It's so frustrating. Anyway, this was quite a nice little game with Ricky. It was the last game of the evening, and I was very pleased with this, but these are once in a blue moon at the moment for me. 5,300 damage, second class mastery again, in the T57 Heavy, and me and Ricky came top in our platoon. We actually just steamrolled the opposition. So, has team play gone out the window? Well, this was me just trying to play the lower tiers. Tier 6, Sherman Fury, top tier in this game. And it was actually quite nice at the beginning of this game to see a little bit of team play going on, because I think for some of us, there just hasn't been any response generally to requests on the battlefield. Well, we spotted a Chaffee. Chaffee's coming in hard, very hard. That's some proper YOLO. Oh, I see. Okay, I've got, right. Yeah, I've got all the light tanks around me. Let's bug out of there. Let's see if we can go back. SOS. Right. True J Wheezy, I'm on my way. I am more than happy to help you. Yeah, I'm coming round, and all that light tank really wants to take you out. Well, I think I can help here. Let's just wedge it in. No, you don't, mate. You stay there. How dare you pick on our team? Yay, yay! The team works. You're welcome. Right, let's go and see. Why is that light tank not moving? You're trying to get in there, and what's going on here? Oh, he's can't. Is he wedged in? He's shooting up in the air. I think he's stuck. Oh, hang on a minute. I'll come round the other side, and I'll see if I can help you out. Because let's just, you know, we are winning this game easily. Let's get this light tank. Oh, I can't get up there. I want to get a push. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Well done. Well, we'll just give this tank a bit of a squish. Well, that was a nice bit of team play. He got me up there. And yay, happy with that. Yeah, he's happy with that. Thank you. Right, onwards, because actually we're only 2 tanks up, so we haven't actually completely got this in the game. Hang on a minute. Guys, oh no. That was quite an enjoyable start to the game. This actually could have made quite a good video. I can't move backwards. I can't move forwards. Trouble is, I mean, I could call for help, but I couldn't get in that position on my own. I needed a tank to push me. So if I need help, I'm going to need 2 tanks, because I'm going to need one that's going to come to the back of me, and then he's going to need another tank to push him up to push me off. And then they might become stuck, but actually there's no tanks in my vicinity. I am going nowhere fast. Well, do you know what? The team play worked at the beginning, and it was rather enjoyable, but I am stuck. I guess this is it. Keep safe, keep tanking, and I think I'm going to be here for some while.